When you play music, what does it do to you?
Well, ever since I was young, I've been obsessed with music. To me, it's like a puzzle. It's like a Rubik's Cube. Even if I were sitting here talking to you and there was music in the background, I'd kind of pretend to listen to you. But I'm focused on like, oh, I bet that's an 18-inch kick drum, and that's kind of an interesting drum loop going, and it's just it's a part of my mind that borders on having an obsessive-compulsive disorder. Music, at some point in my life, became like my religion. Like, I looked at it as something that was more than just a vinyl disc or more than a poster on the wall. It was something that opened me up and made me believe in other things, made me believe in a world outside of my own.
You said that you get way more chicks when you're the lead singer. After your third album, The Colour and the Shape, you went off to LA, you're a single guy, and in your words, you screwed and partied for a whole year. Does that lose its value after a while?
I grew up in Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C., and after living in Los Angeles, I can understand how people just get lost there and disappear forever. I mean, it can be paradise. I think what happened was that I started experiencing that side of rock and roll, and I didn't like it. It didn't work for me, you know. I decided that.
Why
but
didn't
see,
it work
I'm
for
also. I mean, I stopped doing drugs when I was about 20 years old.
Why'd you stop?
It just made me feel weird. I don't know how to better explain it, but I didn't feel like I needed it, and I didn't, you know, I'd smoke weed and get panic attacks and get hives, and it was horrible. So I haven't led that conventional rock and roll lifestyle.
Something that really great that Shirley Manson from Garbage said about you. The lead singer of the Libertines, Pete Doherty, recently survived a drug overdose, leading that classic rock and roll lifestyle. And she said, what would you say to Pete Doherty? And she said, I wouldn't say anything. I get him to talk to Dave Grohl. He's full of life. He's into the joy of life, not, you know, some hackneyed rock and roll cliche. Is that how you feel about life, joyous?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's with someone like Pete from the Libertines, it's just, God, it's like a biography that you've read 10 times before. It doesn't have to be that way. Music's such a beautiful thing, like, I'd hate to see it suffer to something like drugs, you know? What a drag. What a waste. Such a bummer. Such a cliche dead end, you know?
You mentioned when you were 16 you got into punk rock. Like, your mum worked a job, she worked really hard. Your dad was a Republican speechwriter.
Yeah.
How did they take to you looking out for pot everywhere and joining punk bands?
Well, both of them were musicians as well. So they both had a great appreciation of music. I think they believed in my love of music, and they had faith that I could probably do something good. Even when I was young, I had this independent spirit that I felt like I don't need to take that conventional 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, 4 years. I just kind of figured I'd be all right.
Just seize life and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it.
As we know, Kurt killed himself in '94.
Yeah.
Does it amaze you the way suicide rewrites a history? Every lyric becomes a portent of doom. Suddenly nobody ever had a good time, had a laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that it ended that way, because ultimately it just leaves everyone with this question mark, you know? Everybody involved. So, yeah, it really was a horrible ending to something really beautiful. And you're right, what it does is it leads everyone to believe that the band walked with a black cloud over our heads the whole time. When Kurt died, I realized, okay, life is so delicate, it's so short, that you really have to take advantage of every day, you know? And since then, I've had that attitude. It has a lot to do with why I started this band, because I wasn't done yet, you know? I might die tomorrow, but as long as I spend every day like it's a gift, then I'll be fine.